It's just me. Ooh. Ooh, my lighting's a little bit. Anyway, hi there. Hello, house guests. Welcome to the Cup TV, part of the Currently Unnamed Podcast Network, where we put the real and the tea in reality, and you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm Logan Murphy. Say something gay. Gay. I am all by myself today. I got to do a little bit of a solo recap for you all. And oh boy, am I so excited to dive into this weekend of Big Brother, because guess what? Messy gameplay. But I'm currently drinking a double shot latte. It's hazelnut vanilla. It's gorge. It's lovely. It's giving me all of the energy I need to talk about this wild ass Big Brother house. Let me... Period. But yes, I'm gonna fill you all in on everything that's happened this weekend up until this morning, Monday morning in the house. So much shit has gone down. I'm so beyond excited to talk about everything that's been happening. But first, make sure to subscribe if you've not already, because we're here almost all the time giving you almost all things reality competition TV. We've got a lot more coming very, very shortly, so I'm very excited to dive into all of those seasons as well. And make sure to check out the description below, where you can find all of our audio podcast links, our other YouTube channels, and our Patreon. So, thanks for the follows. Appreciate you. All right, let's dive in. When we last checked in with you all on Thursday, I know we didn't do a Saturday. Sorry, Saturday was weird this week, but when we last were here with you all, Rubina won the AI Arena competition, and Joseph was the final pre-juror of BB26, being evicted by a vote of 4-3, with Chelsea and Mackenzie flipping over to the side of the T-Core, Rubina, and Chemo trio, and voting to evict Joseph. And we got a little bit of clarification regarding what happened on the Sunday episode. And I was hoping we would get some DRs from Mackenzie and Chelsea. And thankfully, Big Brother came through for us and did give us the tea that we were looking for. So basically, Mackenzie says, I was convinced by what Chemo said in his speech. And at the end of the day, I think both Mackenzie and Chelsea told Chemo straight up, I think you deserve to be here right now more than Joseph. There were some talks right after the eviction on feeds on Thursday, where both Chelsea and Mackenzie were talking about being women of faith, and that Chemo also comes from a family of faith. And that did ultimately kind of influence why they decided to save Chemo over Joseph. I love it personally because I like Chemo. I wanted Chemo to stay over Joseph. I wanted Joseph to go. So I was thrilled by my girls doing their flip. Leah breaking down crying. Quinn breaking down crying. Mackenzie going in trying to console Leah. And it seems like Leah wasn't not having any of it, but she was not, obviously thrilled to see her friend get evicted. Even though, frankly, I'm glad we don't have to hear two guys constantly thirsting over her. So I'm personally happy to see it, but whatever. Yeah, Quinn realizes he's in a really bad position because this is now the second time on his HOH that one of his number one allies was evicted. So, he's in a bit of an interesting spot this week. And then we go basically straight to the HOH comp. We knew what kind of comp it was going to be because on Wednesday and Thursday, feeds were a little, Wednesday night specifically, feeds were a little messy. because they were showing them all of these videos. 40 videos. We were shown 40 videos for this HOH competition, ranging from Ghost, Doll Girl, to Lisa. Why is Lisa here? Is she the only one that was in Los Angeles and did they pay her? I hope they paid her a little bit extra. I hope they did. Lisa girl, with your bucket of glitter. Oh, I couldn't even. But we knew that because this was the comp that we were getting, it was probably either going to be a before and after comp, or it was going to be a multiple choice comp. We do get the before and after comp. And I was under the impression, based on what they were talking about on feeds, that this was a decisive victory for our new HOH, Chelsea. Yay! Love Chelsea. So happy she won again. But yeah, I thought it was a decisive victory for Chelsea, and instead, come to find out, it's a 4-way tie. Going to a tiebreaker. And I will say, I think the actual answer was 4,000 something. My guess was 2,200. So I also potentially could have won this HOH comp. I will just say that. But yes, Chelsea is our new HOH. She is basically immediately I know what I need to do. And Chelsea's gameplay this week, I have to say, has been a little bit all over the place. I don't think she needed to win this HOH. I don't think it's going to be ultimately super detrimental to her game, but a lot of people are looking at her as more of a target, even though she is very, very well insulated right now. So I don't expect people to be targeting Chelsea anytime soon, unless next week is a double. I think a lot of people are going to try to take out Chelsea in the double. And if next week is a double, then I'm glad that Chelsea won this HOH, so that way she has the potential of winning the double eviction HOH as well. So it has to be a double next week, right? Let me know in the comments. It has to be a double next week, right? So yeah, so Chelsea wins HOH. The rest of the Sunday episode is basically just her letting Kimo know he's going up. She has a conversation with Angela. And this is where we saw over the weekend, we saw this slim pickings conversation between Chelsea and Angela. And Angela being like, no, I don't think you have slim pickings. If you are not working with anyone like you say you are to me, then you should have a lot of choices to go on the block. And I was like, ooh, all right, Angela girl, clock her, I guess. But yeah. So by the end of the episode, we find out obviously that Angela and Kimo are nominated for eviction. Yeah, and that's pretty much where we're at with that. There's a lot to talk about on these live feed spoilers, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get right into it. If you don't want any live feed spoilers, thank you so much for joining. We will be back on Thursday, right after the eviction, to talk about the live eviction. So thank you so much, and subscribe, like, and share on the way out. But I need to dive into these live feed spoilers, y'all, because oh my god, another week of messy gameplay. We've got some power trips going on. We've got someone's about to get completely blindsided today with the veto ceremony, and they've got no idea. But let me fill you in. So on Saturday, we had the veto player picks. Obviously, we're Chelsea, the HOH, Angela and Kimo, the 2 nominees. And because we're back to 2 nominees now, which means we need 3 extra players, which were Rabina, Quinn, and Mackenzie. We did find out, obviously, we knew on Saturday, and they let us know last night in the episode that the veto comp was Otev. I'm so happy for Otev. I don't think producers are super happy with how this OTEV went down. If you know, you know. I'm about to get to that. No word on what the theme for OTEV was. But we do know that Mackenzie won the power of veto. Mackenzie is now an OTEV winner in one round. OTEV only went one round because everyone else got the first question wrong other than Mackenzie. And it was something about, the question was something about who was the only person evicted so far who didn't compete in the first HOH. And it was Cedric, because Cedric was downgraded that week. And I guess everyone else answered Tucker for some reason. I'm not too sure why. But Mackenzie had the right answer, which was Cedric. So Mackenzie won the power of veto. And at first, it looked like Mackenzie wasn't going to use the veto. So it finally would have been a veto not used. That has since changed. And a lot of this, I'm going to give her flowers when she deserves her flowers. A lot of this has to do with Angela. Angela realized very quickly the position that she was in. And I think this is maybe some of the best gameplay we've seen from Angela this season. Angela was overhearing a bathroom conversation on, I believe, Saturday night between the trio of T-Core, Robina, and Chemo, as well as Leah and Quinn. And she went to Chelsea and Mackenzie saying that there is now a 5-person alliance between those 5 people, when to our knowledge an alliance was not formed. They were all just hanging out in the bathroom together, which I still think is weird. Why are we hanging out in the bathroom? But whatever. Let's be honest, if I was in the BB house, I would probably be hanging out in the bathroom all the time too, but whatever. But yeah, so Angela takes that information to Chelsea and Mackenzie. And Mackenzie's on a little bit of a power trip right now. We've heard countless times this weekend how much of a comp beast she is. And I mean, to be fair, she has won the most competitions of the people left in the house. She's at 4, I believe, now. 2 vetoes and 2 AI arenas. So she's got 4 wins, I believe. Oh no. Upgrade, veto, AI. Yeah, that's what it was. So Mackenzie starts spiraling a little bit. Her and Chelsea did a lot of talking this weekend about whether to use the veto. There were talks of using the veto on Angela. There were talks of using the veto on Chemo. There were talks about putting up Leah, because I think Chelsea originally wanted to target Leah and try to backdoor Leah. And if she had, it would have been a true backdoor, which I would have loved to see. But there was the talks about backdooring Leah. Basically, they wanted to put up one of Leah or Quinn as the replacement nom. It was just kind of a matter of who are we going to put up and who are we taking down. Mackenzie really wanted to use the veto on Chemo, but Chelsea and Cam were specifically advocating against it because they have ultimately decided, and what I believe we are going to see later today during the veto ceremony, we are most likely ending up with a scenario where Mackenzie uses the power of veto on Angela, and Chelsea puts Quinn up in her place, meaning that it would be Quinn versus Chemo on the block. and Quinn would very likely be evicted, probably unanimously or almost unanimously. Which I'm not mad at. I'm not mad at it. But there was a lot of back and forth about that. The main reason that Chelsea and Cam were pushing for Mackenzie to use the veto on Angela is because if Quinn was up against Chemo, Chemo stays decidedly. There were already 4 votes, or there were already 3 votes confirmed for Chemo to stay against Quinn, that being Mackenzie, T-Core, and Rubina. And if it was Angela versus Quinn, I do think there still would have been the potential for a flip. And I think Chelsea is really trying to mitigate any sort of flipping happening on her HOH. She's seen it happen twice this season to both Cedric and Tucker, and I don't think Chelsea wants that to happen on her HOH, which is smart. Absolutely very smart. So, yeah, so as of right now, Angela will be coming down with Mackenzie's veto, which means she will be setting a record for the most number of times a veto was used on a player in one season. She'll be tying the overall record as well with Dan Giesling, because Dan had 3 vetoes used on him across all of his seasons. Angela will now be matching that overall record, but she will be setting the single season record for the most number of times a veto was used on someone, which I think is going to be absolutely wild. And here's the other thing that makes this more complicated. Angela was super happy over this weekend, and yesterday specifically, she was very, very happy. And we know with Angela, if she's happy, someone else is about to get fucked over. Speaking of fucked over, I do want to mention as well, apparently, and I'm excited to see it on Wednesday, apparently, when Mackenzie won the veto in one round, Otev, whatever the Otev was, I don't know what the character the Otev was this season, but Otev said that these house guests were a bunch of dumb fuckers. I can't wait to see this. I can't wait. How do 5 people get the answer wrong? We've never, ever seen that happen. We've never seen that happen. Wild. Wild to me. Fucking wild. But, so Chemo was spiraling a little bit. Mackenzie decided, I believe it was Mackenzie. I'm pretty sure it was Mackenzie. Either Mackenzie or Chelsea told Chelsea told Chemo about the plan because he was spiraling. Chelsea decided to tell Chemo about the plan for Mackenzie to use a veto on Angela and Quinn to go up. And I also want to shout out all of the feeds people for keeping me updated over this weekend, because I did watch a lot of feeds, but I was missing some things. So shout out to, as always, Maddie from Mad Rose D and Janet. Maddie and Janet. We love Maddie and Janet. Shout out to Taryn over at RHAP. Love Taryn. Shout out to the Big Bro T on Twitter, and shout out to Baby Feeds Fairy. Y'all are keeping me up to date, and I appreciate it very, very much. So, but yeah, so Chelsea told Chemo about the plan, asked him not to tell anyone, but of course he went and told T-Core. T-Core told Rubina, and everybody else knows about the plan. So going into this veto ceremony today, Quinn is the only person that does not know that he is going up on the block, which I think is absolutely bonkers to do, but whatever. It's going to make for some more good TV, and I'm here for it. But the other thing that was weird is that Mackenzie and Chelsea had this like 2-on-1 conversation last night with Leah. And Mackenzie is, like we said, on a power trip. So she starts basically interrogating Leah. Leah gets very confused, starts crying. And at one point she says, I'm feeling nervous this week. And Mackenzie just replies with, you should be. And it's like, Miss Girl. Miss Girl. Miss Girl. I don't know what's happening. But anyway, as of right now, Mackenzie will be using the power of veto on Angela. Quinn will be going up in Angela's place, meaning that Quinn and Chemo will most likely be facing eviction on Thursday. And if that is the scenario, Quinn should be evicted by probably a vote of 5-1. The one probably coming from Leah, which would make sense. I honestly could also see Leah voting with the House. It would be weird to have a unanimous vote this season, but if it was going to be one, it would probably be Quinn. But that is where we are at for this live feed update. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you for joining me today. Let me know all of your thoughts down in the comments below. I want to know everything you're thinking about this season because I am still so obsessed with this season. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share on the way out. And check out the description where you can find all of our audio podcast links, our other YouTube channels, our Patreon, our social media links, and where you can get your merch. I don't have mine currently, but you can get your merch at lanagcreations.etsy.com. Make sure to check out the merch down below. And with that being said, I am going to go ahead and get out of here. So cheers to you all. Have a fabulous Monday. Bye. From way, 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 way outside the Big Brother house, I've been Logan. This has been The Cup. Love only yourself and nobody else, ever. Good night, house guests.